What is the meaning of my life? It's a question I was grappling with back in 2022, and one that many philosophers over the centuries have pondered on. But as Viktor Frankl brilliantly put it, ultimately, man should not ask what the meaning of his life is, but rather he must recognize that it is he who is asked. This quote transformed my perspective entirely, especially during a time when I felt completely lost. Back then, I had so much to be grateful for. A roof over my head, a loving long-term partner, brilliant relationships with family, and wonderful friends whom I affectionately call my moai, inspired by the Okinawan tradition of longevity. Yet something was missing. I felt this deep sense of purposelessness, like I was walking someone else's path, particularly in my career. Frankl's words liberated me. They made me realize that creating meaning in my life was my responsibility, not something to wait for or discover through divine intervention. So I decided to set some life goals to clear the fog in my mind. I found the 3 most important questions shared by Vishen Lakhiani in his book, The Code of the Extraordinary Mind, useful for this. Using these as my foundation, I wrote down 10 life goals, each starting with an action word. Here are 3 examples from 2022. Fast forward to December 2024. I'm now married to that long-term partner. We own a little house, which we are slowly but surely turning into a home, and I earn money through a role that involves supporting others' personal and professional growth. There are, of course, some goals that are partially fulfilled or not yet started. For example, I'd like to become a mother. They are called life goals for a reason. Some of them may span a lifetime. I'm now entering a new phase of growth, and I figured it's time to reset some of my goals to include new, exciting ones. To help me with this process, I've developed a 3-step method for revisiting those goals. First, I reflect on each past goal, noting what I'm content with and what needs improvement. This is a really helpful exercise because it makes me appreciate all the more how far I'd come and to begin to formulate in my mind what the next set of goals might look like. Then I let it marinate for 3 to 4 days, just allowing my subconscious to process everything. Finally, I sit down with a lovely cup of coffee and craft my new set of goals. When writing my new goals, I've kept some elements that worked well last time. I still aim for 10 goals, it just feels right for me, and continue to start each with an action word. There's still a mix of behavior and outcome-focused goals, but this time I've added more detail where it feels natural. I've also started indicating rough timeframes for some goals, not as strict deadlines. I don't want this to suffocate me, but as gentle guides to make things more concrete and also interesting. Having my past goals and reflection notes beside me as I write has been brilliant for maintaining continuity while incorporating some new direction. One of my new goals is to maintain a loving marriage to my husband. We have a very banterous relationship, full of witty comebacks. Sometimes this playful teasing can be misconstrued by others, even unintentionally creating a negative impression of either of us. So I've made a conscious decision to be mindful of this and ensure our banter stays within our innermost circle. The beauty of this process is that it doesn't need to be perfect. I found myself making little adjustments hours later, and that's perfectly fine. What matters is the intentional act of thinking about the direction of my life and the impact I want to create in the limited time that I have. In 6 months to a year's time, I will read these goals and remind myself where I'm heading. Setting life goals is deeply personal, And while there's plenty of research backing various methods and recommendations, I do believe that it's important to experiment and find what works for us. I hope this video has inspired you to reflect on your own life goals. If you are setting life goals, I'd love to hear about your process and learn from you as well. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Till next time.